Welcome to another Artcast. This is episode 5, I think? Something like that. I'll have the right episode number in the title. But as always, I want to thank you guys for watching the videos and even supporting me. To me, that is just insane that there are people who like watching these videos, to let alone support me. You know, I really wasn't sure how well the Artcast would have been viewed. But I'm seeing a lot of people actually kind of like these little Artcasts, and I think over time these are going to grow and actually be something interesting. I have some ideas I want to try out, and that'll be in this episode, which is going to be insane. I'm going to be trying new stuff in this particular episode that is going to be something that might be a staple of the Artcast to come. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. But we're going to talk about art books. As always, I have a huge collection of art books. I like going through them, seeing which art books I want to talk about, which really strikes me. And one that really caught my attention that I'm surprised I didn't talk about earlier was the Fire Emblem Awakening art book. Now, I will say right now, I'm not a huge Fire Emblem fan, in the sense that the gameplay of Fire Emblem never really appealed to me, because the gameplay, from what I understand, it's like a grid-based RTS, I think they're called. I really am, ignorant on the kinds of games that Fire Emblem is. But, over the years, I've been trying to get back to other genres that when I was younger I never really got into, like Persona, JRPGs, turn-based games, etc. And I'm kind of thinking I should try that with Fire Emblem Awakening, because I think that I had the stigma about it. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up and bringing this art book up is that, obviously I knew of Lucina through Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Introduced me to a lot of Fire Emblem characters, and the one thing that always catches my attention is the character designs. Out of all of the Nintendo properties, Zelda I thought was the pinnacle of character design and art. I thought that, Nintendo put a lot of artwork in that. Not saying that there's no art in Mario to be appreciated, but I always thought that Zelda really focused on it. Then I come to realize that Fire Emblem is really a game that has a lot of intricate designs. There's a lot of stuff that is just really cool to look at. Like, I'm just gonna look at Lucina's design just on the illustrations. Now, I should also say this. This is a very thick art book. This is very heavy, and I think this is priced at $40 at the back of the box, but I think if you look at maybe Barnes & Noble, but Amazon for sure, has this art book for $25. I would definitely recommend it just by the amount of quality and just the how thick it is, and the hardcover is just phenomenal. Again, it's done by Dark Horse. Dark Horse is one of my favorite publishers for art books. They really do art books justice. They give hardcover copies of the art books. They really have a lot of detail in them. So again, as a Dark Horse fan, I really wasn't disappointed with this art book. And the cover has this very nice, smooth feel to it. I don't know how else to describe it, but the other thing, I was going through this, and the one thing I will tell you that I've noticed when every time I look at this art book, you will never finish it. I know that sounds silly, but every time I look at this art book, you know what? I'm gonna take the time and I'm gonna just get through it, and I never do. I always jump between pages, go to other pages of the book, and I always find myself looking at other things, because this art book is packed with all kinds of stuff. It has trivia from the games, interviews from the people who made the game, and has storyboards of the cutscenes. And the one thing I really liked was they also have like little pieces where they talk about the characters. I think it might either just be the author of this book, or it's just people who worked on the game. I'm not too sure, but there was like a little piece where they talk about like why they like each character. Like, I'm talking as I'm looking for the Lucina illustration, but they talked about like what makes each character like their favorite. Like, one of them was saying that Lucina was one of their favorite characters. They like the dynamic between Lucina and Chrom, and it was very heartfelt in the story of Awakening. And I was really interested. Now, of course, this does cover spoilers, so I mean, I am slightly spoiled with the story of Awakening, but to me, when it's games like this, have very vague recollections of stories, so I probably would be as surprised playing Awakening as I would be the first time, because I don't really know fully who these characters are as I'm going through this. But I really like the designs. Like I'm like right here, Walhart and Emerin. They're very well designed characters, and this is the illustration page. This is the official illustration gallery, and it's in such great quality. Like, you really get to see the amount of detail within each character, and this is just, to me, the most inspiring art book. I mean, I have tons of art books that motivate me, inspire me, and kind of refuel me, definitely. But when I'm trying to think of characters that are designed in this kind of style, I go to this art book most of the time. I like that it has the sketches as well. This is a very, very like deep art book that goes into a lot of detail. I finally found Lucina. I like that they also have like little quotes from the characters. Like Lucina says, we must not lose this war." Great quote. Lucina is a great character, perfect character. I like the illustration that they have her in. Each pose is different, and I think it does a very good job capturing the personality of the character in a lot of ways. Like, they have Lucina as this optimistic character, and I think she's a time traveler as well, because I think she goes to the past in Awakening. So that's all I know of Lucina, is that she's a time traveler, and that's it. I don't know anything any more than that. So I like that, and then they also have, I'm going to try to skip to the concept art. Now, the concept art, I think, is really where this book really shines, because they really cram a lot of detail in here. So I'm at the Lucina page, and I think she only has one page? Yeah, she has only one page dedicated to herself. Well, technically two, because it kind of folds out, but I think they also balance it with Crom, I think. Because Crom is the first character design you see, then it goes into Lucina. But they have a table of contents almost for the character designs. Like here it says like 1 avatar early expression sketches. So like on the page you'd have to go to number 1. You'd see the expression sheets that they have for her. Then number 2 would be the avatar early sketches, which is I think these little body portraits. And then 3 is Lucina's expression, concept art, etc. And they're very clean. Like, they have some dirty sketches in there as well, like very rough lines, and then they have very clean lines for some of the other sketches as well. And that's so I really like. I love sketches almost more than the finished product, even though I like both all the same. But I always like looking at sketches because it really shows just how much work goes into the line art, and I think it really values the line art when you look at the sketch and you see a lot more energy put into the sketch, and then when you see it fully colored, it just kind of makes it complete. Obviously, they also have her design when she poses as Marth, because I know she does do that. Again, I know if you haven't played Awakening, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling the game for you, but I mean, I haven't played Awakening 2, I just know this plot point because it's also a plot point in the Switch and 3DS game, Fire Emblem Warriors, which I've just been playing, and that game is top-notch, great game. So I do like that you go through all these sketches and all that, but the one part, I'm going to just jump ahead and show you, like, they also have dialogues of the characters. Like, they have, like, the scripts of the characters. Like, they have the epilogues, the married life recorded in historical records. So they have the shipping kind of dialogue that you could have in the game, like Virion and Lissa, etc. And they have character profiles as well. It's a very like in-depth art book that I'm really surprised is this like. You know, they have a lot of information dumped into this art book. It's really like Dark Horse kept bothering Nintendo for stuff, and they're like, "Oh, okay, fine, take all of these huge files, and then you decide what you want to put into it." There's a lot of stuff in this book. Like there's stuff that even isn't stuff I even got to read yet, because as I said, I've been going through this art book, and there's just pages of pages and pages of stuff that I've just been jumping around. and I really can't sit down and just go by it. There's stuff that I look at that I just stare at for hours. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna look at this Lucina sketch. Oh, the Lucina sketch is great. I'm gonna move on to, you know, I really want to see Tharja's sketches in this book. Oh, I want to see this character. And I keep going to these characters, and it's just insane to me. Like, there's this part of it where I think this is the, what do they categorize this as? Poll results, because apparently they did a poll that's reported by Dengeki Online. In August 2012, the Japanese language anime news site Dengeki Online hosted a questionnaire focused on Fire Emblem Awakening. Although the polls were only up for a short time, there was little advance warning. They got passionate responses from an estimated 700 fans. So they put all the results from that website. I mean, as I said, this is an insane amount of content that is stuff that I would never even fathom would be in an art book. Like, this is literally sold as a Fire Emblem Awakening art book, and you get stuff that's not even remotely relevant to an art book or stuff that you would expect would be in an art book. So, Crom had 11.2%, Owain is 8.9%, Gaius? I probably butchered that name. 8.8%, Henry 7.8%, etc. Lucina got, oh baby, she got the fucking biggest percentage, 15%. 15% of people love that character. The question was, who's your favorite female character? They went with Lucina. Lucina, great character, perfect character, baby. They know what the fuck is up. Cordelia got second place with 10.1%. I guess he plays Robin in this game because I do know that there's two Robins in Smash. There's male Robin and female Robin. And I guess that's the character you play as. So, they named Robin Avatar here, which, okay. I kind of like Lucina a little bit more. I hope I get to play as her, TBH. But yeah, the female character got only 9%. Now this is silliness. Okay, Tharja got 8.4 fourth place. You're telling me that Avatar got 1%, or roughly 1% more than Tharja? Come on. Now I played Fire Emblem Warriors. I saw Tharja. I played as Tharja, and she was just amazing. Great character. She has great attitude. She's just like, whatever, you know, great character, perfect character. I don't know why. They're trying to discriminate against Tharja. This is not right. This is not okay. You got Lucina right, but Tharja I think should have been a little bit higher. You know, if it's not number 2, number 3. I think she's number 2. Cordelia is good too. I like the hairstyle. I think the amount of red that's in it is perfect, not too ginger, just right, perfect amount. Samia, I don't know anything about her, so I can't really say. So there you go. And then which character was most helpful in the story? The Avatar, well, of course, you're playing as the character. Donald, Morgan, and then what phrase left the biggest impression? Now, how come Lucina wasn't part of this? They have Crom, you know, like, anything can change. We'll come back. It's over now. Don't speak her name. Okay, those are great, but I have a feeling Lucina has better quotes. I just have a feeling. It's a hunch. It's just a hunch. Then 10.6 goes to the guy with the eye patch. Don't know his name, unfortunately. Your future. It can kiss my big brown Roxy arse. Okay, that's great. Perfect. I can stay there. Perfect. Then there's hey there, Fredder. Okay, that's dumb. I don't know why that's there. What anime left the biggest impression? Okay, whatever. But yeah, that's what I like about this art book. There's a lot of stuff I'm trying to find. Here it is. I found it. What is this? Oh yeah, this is all. Holy shit. Holy moly, guys. This is the support conversations. They even have a whole portion of support conversations in this book. That's insane. They have a glossary as well. They have a little card portraits, character cards, website background illustrations. that look really nice. They have a very painterly kind of style to them. Oh, I like the Lucino one. That's oh man, the Lucino ones are pretty cool. I like the Lucino one right there. Yeah, and then here is the storyboard stuff. I'm gonna try to go to one that is just a straightforward one. Cutscene storyboard. So they have like the sketches of the storyboard, and then they have the in-game cutscenes that they played out in the storyboard form. So like they would have like one panel where it has a sketch of Crom, I guess, doing whatever, and then they show the in-game footage of that sketched scene. So they do that. They have like multiple pages of this, and they actually put like the script of it too, like Avatar's point of view, Crom's back. He's crossing in front of the Avatar, breaks into a run. Crom closes, like it has these contents of notes for, I guess they sent it to an animation team, and then they just looked at these notes and animated these scenes. They also have the order of the scenes as well. Again, like all of this does delve into story stuff as well. So this does go from like beginning to end for the most part. So this does cover spoilers. So if you get this and you're planning on playing Awakening, you might not want to go through the full book just yet. To me, like when it's a game like this, when it's a game that's this old, I don't mind being spoiled in some regard. You know, I don't want to see just a a straightforward cutscene played out to me. But if I see this kind of stuff, it's fine. Because I think that it's also about the journey as well. I think it's a good balance. There's a balance between that. And here I think is the proposal event illustration. So they have that. And I think these... I mean, where's Lucina? I want to see Lucina's face. Come on. Where is she? They have... oh, they have Tharja here. Oh, Tharja looks pretty good to me. Oh, here's Lucina. She's holding flowers. She's blushing. Perfect. Again, as I said, this has a lot of information and detail to it. So if you ever really want an art book that you can kind of delve into and sink your teeth into, this is one of those great art books that you get a lot of quality for the amount you're paying. It's, I keep mentioning the Persona 5 art book, and that's a great art book on its own. This I kind of feel is better because I think it has a lot of content in it that I think both Fire Emblem Awakening fans can enjoy, even Fire Emblem fans, and people who never really played the games or just are familiar with these characters. I think they'll get a lot out of this because, honestly, this art book kind of makes me want to get into the game more so than, I played Fire Emblem Warriors, and that does kind of get me want to get into Fire Emblem, for sure, but this art book kind of, it's been a pushing force to get me to play the game. It's like, every time I think about it, it's like, oh, do I really want to play Fire Emblem? Well, if I do, I want to play Awakening. And I think, I am familiar that there's like a localization controversy with it, but, I think I'm just gonna, just ignore the controversy with that. Get into Fire Emblem Awakening and see what the game is just on, with my own perspective. So they have story event illustrations as well. They have dialogue, as I said. Now, I think somewhere in this book, I really don't remember where it is, they have, as I said, they have people talk about the characters and stuff that they liked, and one of the things they liked about Lucina was that dynamic with Crom. They have weapon illustrations. Now, I'm not a huge fan of weapon and items artwork. I just don't really find them interesting, unless they're very intricate designs, like, when you look at Peace Walker's art book, and you get, intricate designs of the mechs of that game, that I'm fine with because that's a little bit more interesting and because it's more dynamic, but it's like, here's the sword, it's cool, but I've never really, I never really connected with it, I guess. Zelda I kind of get a little more into because of the Master Sword designs and all that, but I don't know. They have character designs of all other kinds of characters. This character, what is this character? Dark Flyers. Oh, these are just NPCs, I guess, that you just kind of beat up. And even the NPCs, they draw like their own characteristics. So when you look at these, they feel like that they're their own character. They feel alive. They just don't feel like fodder. Like when you look at some Metal Gear art books, they draw like generic soldiers, and that's kind of how they feel, which is fine. I mean, the designs with those soldiers stand on their own very well. But when you look at these kind of characters, like there's this Dark Knight female, and he has no name. But I am so curious on her character. I kind of would want a spin-off game of just what she's up to. Like, she has this like kind of great, like, cool smile, cute smile, great smile, baby. Got like bangs going on. She got like this big puffy collar, or whatever. You know, I want to know what her story is. Like, what is she in the grand scheme of this army that she's a part of? And again, as I said, like, these are just kind of like these nameless enemies that I feel like you're just mowing down pretty much in Fire Emblem Awakening, and they have all these like cool designs that just make you want to say, like, what is their story? And I think when you have a design that's that strong, you've really done something that is just solid and enjoyable. You know, a lot of people, I think, struggle when they try to design a character to make them feel like they either overthink the design and they make it look convoluted and tacky, or they underthink it and it just looks generic and forgettable. So you really have to put time and thought into your NPCs or your side characters. If you really want them to have a significance in a scene, you really have to think about how they're designed. I've seen a ton of concepts that just, even mine included, that just don't feel fleshed out. And I mean, it's fine because you kind of get away with it by saying, well, these are just side characters, these are just background characters, these are just white noise, you don't really need to worry about them. But when you try to push yourself to make solid designs for characters, it goes the extra mile, and I think you get more out of it, both as an artist and as a viewer or reader. You get really interested in the universe. A lot of stuff is like when you're building like a house, let's say, you know, you could have just a stable foundation, sure, but you know, you might benefit having a little bit more support and little details in the house. And the house, you know, the homeowner is gonna be happy with it. You're gonna be happy with it because you really push yourself on this design of the house, etc. So you really have to layer it up. And I always appreciate when I see artwork of these side characters that are just put tons and tons of effort into. You know, Persona does that in a lot of ways with the confidants or social links that are not in your main party. But in a way, those characters do have their own stories. But when you do this for like NPCs or just characters that are just, you know, Dark Knight female, I mean, it goes, you know, pretty far with it. So I really do appreciate that it adds to the experience and the enjoyment of these games. So that is pretty much all I'm gonna go with this art book. It's a really, really solid art book. I would say I'm obsessed with this art book fairly, because you know, it has beautiful, gorgeous artwork. Gorgeous artwork. The quality of the hardcover is perfect. It's a really solid quality, and it's sturdy. Now, those of you who follow me on this channel or on Twitter, you know that last year or so, I think it was last year, we had an issue with the water coming back up in our basement, and I was like, holy shit, you know, I have all these art books that are on these like bookshelves that almost touch the ground, and I was the one thing I was afraid of was that this art book was gonna get damaged. Luckily it didn't get damaged. Luckily it survived. I mean, a lot of my art books actually survived the flood, which is just great. I loved it. The only one that did not make it, unfortunately, was my anatomy book, which is a very good book and makes me sad every day. But we move forward with it. So this is a very good art book. I would definitely recommend the Fire Emblem Awakening art book on many levels. If you're an aspiring artist, if you really want something that is gonna get you pumped to do art, the Fire Emblem Awakening art book is definitely gonna do that. It's one of the pillars of art books that I would definitely say would fuel you into doing art. The Persona 5 art book and the Fire Emblem Awakening art book are two of those art books. I've covered others in this podcast so far. Like, I've looked at the Persona 4 art book and the Persona 4 Arena. Now, those are great art books on their own, but I don't feel like those can really motivate people into getting out of a funk, or if they're just trying to get inspiration. I don't think that those art books are strong sources. they're sources of inspiration, but I don't think they're strong. Persona 5 is strong, and this is strong. So maybe the next Artcast will go into an even stronger art book, or maybe not. Who knows? But as I said, the Fire Emblem Awakening art book is a great art book. Has a very gorgeous cover. Has the main girl, Lucina, on the cover. You can't really go wrong with having Lucina on your cover. Great character. Just phenomenal character, baby. So that's it for the art book portion of the Artcast. I'm going to move to a very experimental series. I want to talk about a character that I like. I'm going to be doing a pretty much a collage of characters that I like per episode. So what will be this episode's favorite character, or the character of the month, or character of the episode, whatever you want to call it. Probably character of the month is going to be the better title. So character of the month. Well, who will it be? Let's find out. For a character of the month, I obviously decided to choose Eliza from Skullgirls. Now, this is one of the characters they released when it was on the PS3 and Steam, and they were doing just Skullgirls Encore. And the way they were doing DLC was for a month or so, the character would be free, and then after that window, you would have to pay like $5 per character. I, for some reason, slept on this DLC, and I think I ended up having to pay the $5 to get her in the in Skullgirls, because when I decided to buy her, it was like at this time where I was like, you know what, I should get the full cast for Skullgirls, because I like the game, might as well get the full cast unlocked. So I ended up buying the character, and I started her story mode. And the story mode is honestly where I started to fall in love with this character. At first, I didn't know how I felt about her design. I really wasn't feeling it for a while. But the more I played her, the more I started to appreciate her story mode. I kind of loved her design. And it kind of goes into why I like characters like Morrigan from Darkstalkers and Raggio from Kill la Kill. Eliza is this character that is a villain. She's a villainess, she's this monster, this beast that is within, but really what I loved about Eliza the most in the story mode was that she was content doing her own little thing. She was just a diva. She just wanted to sing. She wanted just to do that and then skim some of the blood from the blood drive, which is pretty evil. But I mean, she's a villain, so. But I like that she was just content just being a singer, and she just kind of was just wanting to be out of the limelight for a while. She then gets mixed up with the Medicis in the game, and they wanted to kind of blackmail her into using her to find the Skull Heart, and through that reignited Eliza's passion or drive to be a conqueror almost. Like, you know, throughout the whole story, she's just like, oh, you know, I just want to be a singer. Oh, fine, I'll play your game, Medici. I'll find the Skull Heart, whatever. And as she's going on this trail, she decides, nah, fuck that. I'm just going to do my own thing. I don't need the Medicis. I don't need this. I'm just going to do my own thing and just kind of, you know, I miss this power that I'm getting from this. And I really like that about Eliza. I like these characters in any story of these characters that are just kind of secluded, or they're doing their own thing, and you know, they used to be someone, and then they decide to do their own little small thing, and then something happens to rekindle their passion or their drive to be what they were. And that's really what I loved about Eliza's character in the story mode. She was so content in being a singer, and then as the whole story played out, she decided, I'm gonna go back to being what I was, a ruler, you know, trying to get these parasites to be more respected, and all this other stuff, and I really appreciate that in the character. She's a monster, she's evil. I really liked the dark tone of her story in a lot of ways by the end. And Skullgirls has a lot of stories that range from goofy to sinister or dark, and I really like that about the story mode in Skullgirls in general, but I think Eliza's was the one that I enjoyed the most. I enjoyed how twisted it was. It was like, oh shit, this is happening. I like that they hinted at a relationship between her and Samson, Philia's parasite. The other thing I really loved about Eliza is that her story and her design plays into her gameplay as well. And the other thing, and that also ties into the initial plan for Eliza, which was going to be a villain in Skullgirls 2. If they were ever going to do a Skullgirls 2, which I hope happens someday,
She was supposed to be the boss character of Skullgirls 2, but they decided to make her DLC for Skullgirls Encore. So her gameplay plays like, she has normal combos in her normal human form, whatever, fun little combos. She has big winding moves. I like the heavy punch that she has, with the scythe, whatever. That's pretty fun, and her kick is also pretty fun to use as well. She has a lot of cool moves. I like the boat as well, and the rising blood statues. That was also a lot of fun as well to use. But the other part of her gameplay that plays into her design very well is that she has a parasite inside her called Sekhmet, and you can pull that parasite out to do some combos with, and the parasite has armor to it, but you can grab the parasite, and that would be able to put her back inside, the body and all that. But other than that, it's a super armored combo machine almost. The parasite does take super meters, so if you're saving up super meter, and you bring out Sekhmet, it drains that super meter. So it's somewhat balanced, but there's ways to handle it. But that's kind of what plays into her design. She has this cute kind of like menacing outer layer, and then on the inside is this bloodthirsty monster that is just sitting behind the scenes and not really, forthcoming almost. Like, she's just kind of there. And I like the design of her as well, where it's kind of like a lioness. Because that's kind of what Eliza is. She's a predator, pretty much. She's not a passive character. She preys on other characters in the story. She preys on her victims, etc. And that's really what I liked about Eliza, that she has this very strong, like predatory kind of personality, and I think that is a fun personality. I mean, it's not like an amazing original personality, but when I see characters that have that kind of personality that's kind of like that, and also kind of like a succubus, it's just a lot of fun to see play out, see how the characters are played out and all that. And the voice talent they got to voice her for the English dub, I should say, is just perfect. They have the actress of Yoko from Gurren Lagann, who's also Sea Viper from Street Fighter, voices Eliza. The voice actress for Sekhmet is the voice actress who did Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop. I think she did another anime, but I can't think of it right now. Maybe Samurai Champloo, I think, but I'm not completely sure on that. But the way they use the voices are very clever. Like, when she's in her human form, she has that soft voice, and then when her parasite shows up, she has this harsh kind of predatory voice, and it's kind of fun to see how they kind of go between the two. So there's a lot of stuff I really like that goes into Eliza's character, both gameplay-wise and design-wise, and even in her story. A lot of stuff about her is just kind of is where I have a lot of fun with. I love her personality, I love her gameplay, I love everything about her. A lot of people complain to me when I play as her in Skullgirls, like, oh, she's OP, oh my god, you just like her for dumb reasons, etc. But, she's a very fun character. She's heavy, she has winding attacks, but, I mean, when you land a combo, it feels so satisfying. And I've seen a lot of people who play as her online that do a lot of crazy stuff with her that I don't really do as much. I used to be really good with her, in the early days of Skullgirls Encore, but at some point I kind of lost that momentum with her. I don't know what happened, but that still doesn't discourage me from continuing to play as her. I really, really enjoy her character and her gameplay. She's just a fun character, and this is kind of what I look for in fighting characters. So, thank you for watching the Artcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry it came out a little, way late than I intended. I really wish I got this episode done in the month it was supposed to be out. I would like to thank all you guys for waiting for so long for this episode. I just wish it came out when I wanted to instead of it taking so long. Hopefully the next episode won't take this long. I don't know. But this is something I was just trying to do something new with. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the next episode. But again, thank you for watching. And hope to see you guys in the next video I put up. Everyone have a nice day and enjoy the rest of this video.